Lucis Trust, a non-profit, non-political, and non-sectarian organization on the roster of the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations and concerned with the establishment of world cooperation and goodwill, presents Inner Sight with your host, Robert Anderson. He, with Sarah and Dale McKechnie, President and Vice President of Lucis Trust, will discuss philosophical and spiritual topics essential to everyday life. Now here's your host, Robert Anderson.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Inner Sight. Inner sight is simply seeing that which is always present, but not yet fully recognized. You have, within you, the ability to see yourself and the world around you in a new way, with new eyes. So stay with us, and together we'll look at the world and ourselves with inner sight. Our topic for today is the seven rays. And there's a thought that relates to this particular subject that comes from the works of Alice Bailey. And the volume that I'm speaking about is Esoteric Psychology, Volume 1. Alice Bailey, by the way, is the founder of the Lucis Trust organization, and she's authored 24 volumes of literature. And all of our shows emanate, all of our discussions, our shows emanate from her literature. And this thought is, there is one life which expresses itself primarily through seven basic qualities or aspects, and secondarily through the myriad diversity of forms. These seven radiant qualities are the seven rays. Why is the word ray? Why is it used to describe qualities of the one life, and why seven?
Ray is an expression of energy. A beam of light is a ray, and that's probably a good simile for the seven rays as expressed in the teaching of the Ageless Wisdom. The other day, Dale and I were talking about a good analogy or a good simile for the seven rays, and I think you came up with the idea of a prism.
Yeah, that's one way to describe it by way of analogy, as if, when light is shown through a prism, P-R-I-S-M, it subdivides into seven basic colors, and these are the seven colors, the seven vibrations, seven rates of vibration that appear as color. And the combined effect of all of those vibrations give us white light. So within that one light, there is seven differentiations. And you might liken this to the spiritual light of God. Also, when it focuses through the human kingdom, it breaks down and divides into seven paths, or seven spiritual streams of energy.
Well, first, I suppose one should say out of the one there is the three, followed by the seven. The one, the three, and the seven is the pattern. The triplicity of divinity, I think, is a common concept in a number of religions, certainly in Christianity.
Yeah, it's the basic Trinity, the one and three, and the three and one.
The Father, Son, and Holy Ghost of Christianity, or in Hinduism, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma.
Right.
So there's the one life, the one creator called God or deity, and expressed or manifested as three, and qualified or differentiated as seven. I think we could say, and the seven rays are seven expressions of the one, seven qualities of divinity as they manifest in the world.
Yes, and I think it's important to realize that these are energies. When we say the word ray, we're not talking about a ray gun or anything like
Images
that.
of bad movies come to mind.
Or someone by the name of Ray. We're not talking about that either.
No.
Little boys with phony pistols.
No, nothing like that. These are energies that qualify all manifested life on the earth. That's a huge, big statement, but that's from the teachings and the writings of Alice Bailey. And all of what we're saying here about this vast science of the 7 rays is from the teachings in the Bailey books. And it's rather difficult to kind of understand at first because it's so abstract and it's so new. But really it will be in the future, we're told, and it's already beginning to be today, a new science of psychology, because it enables us to understand ourselves in a completely different way from the standpoint of these 7 rays.
Coming back to the 7 rays as expressed in the writings of Alice Bailey, there are parallels in some other systems of thought. The Bible speaks of the 7 spirits before the throne of God. It's a phrase from Revelations. And the ancient Hindu text, the Veda, speaks of the 7 rishis. And I think there's a tradition in mythology that says the sun, meaning the orb in the sky, S-U-N, the sun is one who is driven by 7 horses. So these are references to the same recognition that life is expressed in a 7-fold manner.
Yes, and there are many other examples of the 7. As I mentioned before, the 7 colors that break down for the light spectrum, and the 7 colors, of course, in the rainbow are the same thing. It's sunlight shining through the spectrum of water vapor, and that gives us the rainbow in the sky. And
7 major glands in the human being.
7 glands. There are 7, in addition to the 7 glands, there are called 7 chakras.
Or centers.
7 centers, 7 major chakras or centers up and down the spine.
Energy centers, in other words, areas within the spinal column or very close to the spinal column that are centers for the inlet of spiritual energy.
The chakras, yeah.
Yes.
And there are 7 ventricles in the human brain, I'm told.
Really?
Someone said that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 7 days in the week. That's not by accident.
Right, God created the world in 7 days, according to the book of Genesis.
Right.
There were 6 days and rested on the 7th.
He rested on the 7th. Well, we have to count the 7th.
Yeah.
And also, there's an interesting analogy in the diatonic scale in Western music is based on 7 basic notes. Mm-hmm. And this is not by accident also, because it's arranged that way it's a very esoteric arrangement.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti.
Do.
Do is repeated. Do is the 8th note.
Every octave is based on 7 basic notes.
Mm-hmm. Within the last century, it's been discovered that by scientists that the human body is replaced every 7 years. Every cell of the body is
That's right.
So virtually we have a new body every 7 years. Mm-hmm. So the number 7 is really a mystical, spiritual number in so many ways. You know.
It's said in the writings of Alice Bailey to be the number that governs evolution. Mm-hmm. So that implies that a 7-fold expression pertains to the outer physical realm, the realm of manifestation. The realm of pure spirit is not governed by 7. I think it's governed by 1 or 9. I'm not sure. I'm not very adept at numerology, but 7 is said to be the number of evolution, which would explain why the body, for example, renews itself.
Oh, I see. That would relate to
every
that. I hadn't thought of
years.
that. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
And there is also a bodily cycle of 7 years that every 7 years is rather significant changes that occur or potential to occur in a person's life. At the age of 21, that's 3 7s. 28 and 35. 35 tends to be a very pivotal year with a lot of people. I know it was in my life because it was age 35 I discovered the Bailey books, and that turned my whole life around.
Altered the entire course of your life.
I haven't been the same since. So
for many reasons.
Well, I'm sure if our listeners read the books, they'll find out why, and they may be on